10 of discussion. The 10A discussion by road commissioners of demolition of buildings that are structurally unsound and hazardous.
I asked it just be placed on there. As I understand it, we don't have any formal process if any council member wants to place an item on the agenda. There seems to be some discrepancies, or has been recently. In my opinion, and if you look at these other towns, I think any council member has the right to place any item on the agenda, period. It shouldn't require 2 or more, 3 or more, or the mayor pro tem, or anybody else. And since it doesn't say we cannot do that, in the past, I remember, I've been on this council 12 or 13 years, you could just call and have something placed on the agenda. Now it seems like when there's possibly something that's controversial, not city staff, but that other factions try to stop it from being on the agenda, not city staff at all. So, Audrey did some research, all the other towns allow any council member to place anything on the agenda. And I would certainly hope that next time any council member calls,
I don't think placing an item on the agenda is a problem. Placing a frivolous item that's already been acted upon at a subsequent meeting for discussion and or action. If it's been acted upon and no action was taken, put it back on the agenda subsequent meeting and another meeting and another meeting. I would think that was a problem.
well, we obviously don't have a problem with the audience, the patrons. Somebody can show up every week and talk about the same item over and over and over, and that's their right. And I think it should be any city council member's right to place any item on the agenda.
Not to mention the item in question that I had asked to have on the agenda was an item that did not lose or win, but rather died for lack of majority in the direction. And so it was my request upon being out of town and learning that there had been some feedback in the community on the issue, the newspaper had spoke out on the issue, that without speaking to anyone on council, I had asked for the staff to place it back on the agenda, hoping that at this point, that maybe, I don't know, we never got that opportunity because my request was denied not by staff, but by the mayor.
But, Mr. Harrell, I ask you to hold the councilman.
Are we going to do a straw poll every time one of us wants to put something on the agenda?
Frivolous item.
It's your belief that it's a frivolous item, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I want to get an argument. But if an item has been already placed on the agenda, let's say the organizational chart, and it doesn't pass. We place on the subsequent meeting, doesn't pass. And then another meeting, doesn't pass. Where would we stop?
Well, my belief would be that if our body cannot take action one way or the other, it's our obligation to continue to address that issue until we have a majority in one direction. Because if we're not going to change the nature of our body, which is 6 voting members, without adding or decreasing a member, at which I'm willing to entertain either, I would rather see us with an odd number so that we don't have gridlock. If the item had been voted down, you would not have seen me request it. But it was not voted down. It was 3-3. And what really irritated me was the fact that it was denied not by staff, but by individual members of council without coming to this body for a vote. Essentially, it was voted down for a lack of majority before it even got to this body to consider.
Did you have an idea that it might have?
I had not spoken to a single member of this body.
Right.
I was in Montana for the duration.
You have
So.
a comment, Joe?
No, I don't have a problem with an item being brought up if it was tied to no action was taken. But I would not like to see an item that's voted down to reappear again. That I would have that would be a
Correct. And if my motion had been denied, I would have not put it back on.
Because if an item has been voted down and it's going to be brought up again for council, then the name of the game is waiting for one council not to appear.
Correct. But you would agree that if we did not have a vote in the majority of one direction or the other, that it would be legitimate with a tie to bring that back up.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay, next one.
My thinking is that we do start doing that, this can continue just on and on and on. What if we have an item and it's a split vote, we put it into the road, do we keep putting it on there?
Well, that's my question, that maybe the council needs to consider a remedy, whether it's subtracting a position or adding one, as it stands currently, then quite obviously there are going to be numerous occasions that we're not going to have consensus one way or the other, and that's not good for the city.
Okay, and that very rarely happens. Since the mayor's been voting for how long, 6, 7, 8 years? I don't know. We very rarely have ever had 3-3. I mean, I bet not a handful of times. So I don't foresee that being something we're going to face every week or twice a month or whatever. But I do feel anybody, this council, I know that I can speak for myself, and I think most everybody else, doesn't fall in line with anybody else. There's not sides. Everybody's independent or should be independent and follow however they feel whatever decision they should make. So, but I do feel, without a doubt, that if I call them on something on the agenda, I feel it's important, and I'm elected by the citizens, and I should be able to place it on the agenda, as well as anybody on this council, anything. Whether I agree with it or not, that's your right as a councilman.
If we have a